Okay, let's use diagram to represent our positives and negative numbers. So first we'll use green to represent positive and red to represent negative. So let's start. Positive 1, use a green counter to represent positive 1 and a red counter to represent negative 1. And a positive and a negative gives you 0. This is known as a zero pair. A positive and a negative gives you 0, and this is called a zero pair. Let's use our zero pair to solve questions. Here we have positive 3 add negative 2. First, start with your 3 positives. Use green to represent your positive counters. So positive 1, positive 2, positive 3. And then you're going to add your 2 negatives. Use red to represent your negatives. So that is negative 1, negative 2. So we just add our negative 2. Earlier we spoke about zero pair. A positive and a negative gives you a zero pair. They cancel out each other to give you a zero pair. Then remember, positive add a negative gives you a zero pair, and we're left with one positive. So that is positive 1. Hence, our answer for 3 add negative 2 is positive 1. Let's give a try to this question. Negative 4 add 6. You can pause the video and try the diagram for this question. Okay, let's check our answer together. Let's start with our negative 4. So that's 4 negative counters. That's 4 red counters. 1, 2, 3, 4. So negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. Then add your 6 positive counters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 6 positive. Equals, remember, positive and a negative gives you a zero pair. So we have a zero pair here and another zero pair, positive and a negative gives you 0, positive and a negative gives you 0. And then finally, one more zero pair, and the remainder is 2 positives. So we have 2 positives here. Therefore, minus negative 4 add positive 6 will give you positive 2. Let's look on a more harder question using the diagram. Okay, start with your 3 positives. That's 1, 2, 3. And then you're going to subtract your negative 2. However, we don't have any negative 2 to subtract. Therefore, we have to add 2 zero pair. Adding 0 pair does not change the value of your question. So here we have your first 0 pair and your second 0 pair. Now we can subtract our 2 negatives. So let's subtract our 2 negatives, and our remainder will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 positives. Therefore, 3 subtract negative 2 is positive 5. And just a quick summary, if this a positive and a negative gives you 0, this is known as a zero pair. Here we have some examples. Also, remember, to add a negative is the same as subtracting. And then when we go on to this question, remember your zero pairs and they do cancel out each other. So your negative 4 will cancel 4 of the positives. Now we have two positives remaining, and we mostly use these when we're looking at big numbers. We can say um, our 4 negatives cancel 4 of the positives. Okay, and then let's look on the final question where we have 3 subtract negative 2. Again, to subtract a negative is the same thing as adding. Always remember that, but using the diagram, remember we have our 3, we don't have any negative 2. We have to add 2 0 pairs and then subtract our negative. And that's how we use the diagrams to solve these questions. If this video helped, please subscribe, like, and share, and thanks for watching. Please check out my other questions videos on numbers, solving equation, and most importantly, ratio.